Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about Batman the 1960s television show. More specifically, we're going to be focusing on Egghead. Now, Egghead is a villain that appeared actually several times on the show, who was played by the amazing Vincent Price. Wait, what? Vincent Price? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why is this man, this leading man of horror, the horror genre, in Batman? Why is he a villain? Well, one of the many reasons was because they always wanted to use, in terms of the villains, people with huge star power. And of course, Vincent Price in the 1960s was really big. Not someone you would maybe think is a villain, but in my estimation, he worked pretty well. Anyway, I will probably make another video down the line, many more on Egghead and so forth, but today we want to cover something very specific. That is the makeup that was used for his head. He was not bald when he played Egghead, and that called for that part. It wasn't necessarily just him looking bald. His head looked very much like an egg. And it wasn't that easy to put on the makeup, and I think you will be absolutely amazed when you hear what happened when Vincent Price had to take his makeup off. Well, this story comes from the makeup artist himself. This was the man who created that look, that very ever-present and very memorable look on Vincent Price. His name was Bruce Hutchinson. Now, he mentioned that the time that he spent with Vincent Price was very amazing, especially this moment. The first time they actually got this makeup on him, not only the makeup, but they had the bald cap on him and they had to elongate it just a little bit to make it look like an egg. It took them roughly 20 to 30 minutes to gently remove the bald cap after they had done all of the filming and all of the shots they needed for the particular episode that they're talking about. Now, the bald cap itself was glued down, and so they had to unstick it, but it wasn't something easy that you could just unstick. Imagine a band-aid. Imagine a band-aid that's been left on there for a little bit. Now, an easy way to take it off is just to rip it off, or you can slowly tug at it, and that could be painful unto itself. So that's why the makeup artist was very careful, and there's a certain process that, as I mentioned, takes close to 30 minutes just to remove it. So there's essentially no pain, but it does take a while. Now, the next day when they had shooting for other scenes that they had to finish, Vincent Price came in and said, "This is really boring. I actually hate it." He was talking about the process of removing the cap. He was not patient. He didn't want to sit there for 30 minutes. So he actually reached back and ripped the entire bald cap off his head. Now remember, there's special glue on this. It adhered to his skin, and yep, it was not a pretty sight. From that day forward, that was the only way that Vincent Price would take it off. It would be pretty much instantaneous, but according to him, he wouldn't have to go through the trouble of sitting there for 30 minutes. He again likened it, as I mentioned before, like taking off a band-aid a little bit at a time. And he said the best way to do it is just to rip it off. Down in the comments below, let me know what you think. I'm actually surprised. I always took Vincent Price as kind of a man who was a little bit posh, a little bit upper class, quote unquote, that he was a man who liked the finer things in life. Not saying that he didn't, but this seems to me like something that someone would do with who's a little bit rough around the edges, and coming from Vincent Price, I think that's pretty awesome. Gives him a more realistic approach, not so much a lofty actor, but a man of the people. I don't know, that's my estimation. What do you think? Is this something you should have done? And he did this repeatedly on many filming days at the end, just not during the first day. Love to read your comments as always, and don't forget, guys and gals, be hopeful. Thank you to everyone who supports me and my channel, especially through Patreon, where you could be listed on here. My awesome diamond tier patrons Gary N, Sydney R, David D, and Ricky. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you back real soon. Links, playlists to my other 1,300 videos could be found in the description.